picking up their map pick in convincing fashion. But this time, Seaside, it's Train.
It's a new map for sure. Different in senses of comfortability for Fnatic, I think it's a fair way to word it. As they already get the opener out on Apex, Dennis will be sitting here towards Upper Brown looking for a pick. Only damage dealt to NBK, but now he doesn't feel obligated to continue to try to find a frag. As they know they have a man advantage, content to play retake, Kid on Crims, that's what it's for with a nade. As G2 don't even have a smoke actually to help them get out here. So they're kind of putting a rock in a rough place as JW is going to start the flank. So time's kind of becoming an issue for G2. Although there's a minute with the flank, the lack of utility, it's a lot to ask.
Yeah, they're hoping Shoxy opens up something here towards the A site, right? They need to make a distraction of sorts, but it's been enough to get them at least down the ramp, and the bomb plant shines through. Dennis just giving up the bomb site itself. Flusha from afar with the USP, unable to finish that frag, but it's Olaf's rotation that nets them one. Body's able to drop one in the meantime, and it's Dennis with the next, so it's just down to Shoxy. And he's coming in from the A site, read like a book. Fnatic will take the pistol.
Yeah, Fnatic with the opener, the flank from JW allowed them to over-rotate towards A and then just have those players towards Z to go for the nice quick rotation. Content to play retake, knowing the kit was in play, and just Fnatic just sliced down G2 as they tried to get aggressive towards B, and as you said, Shoxy coming in through A was an easy read for them. As the pistol will go Fnatic's way, they'll pick up an MP9, couple FAMASes, and an auto shotgun. Interesting from JW. I imagine he's going to push either up into Upper Brown, or he's going to go ladder. He's going to go neither. He's going to go to Ivy with it. So it's interesting from JW. He's been the man of interesting feats so far.
Yeah, the Mag 7's really good when it gets up close and personal, but I think the XM1014 has the edge at a bit of a distance, right? So that's why he's been taking these kind of more unorthodox peeking angles. And it's Flusha with an MP9 and a USP to find the anti-eco ace. My goodness. Makes mincemeat of G2 Esports as they try to execute out. That was quick.
Quick, gross from Flusha, and also just so much money made from the MP9. Which is an SMG that doesn't get used often. But with its quick fire rate, easy to move with and hit shots, you get to see why Flusha likes to use it himself. As 2-0 is going to be the score, G2 did get a bomb planted in the first pistol round. That was a full save for AKs, Galil, utility on the board. I mean, G2 may be able to transition this, but aggression from Fnatic. They don't upgrade any weapons. And they decide to throw Dennis with the M4 towards Sam, which he knows they're pushing him. We'll find the favorable one on Apex. He's looking for some more, and he'll get it. Dennis with two. Can't get the third due to his HP as Shox will finally put him down. Flusha and JW, I mean, probably the most awkward weapons to retake with.
Yeah, they didn't upgrade into this round. It could cost them, seeing as it's these two men still standing. But at the same time, Body's dropped to 5 points of health, so he has nothing to work with.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of pressure on Shox. But Shox isn't the bomb carrier, so if Body can do one thing before he dies, his sole purpose is to plant that bomb. Shox is going to get close to try and bail him out here. Give him a bit of cover. He could just try and tuck it next to the planter. To cover the bottom of Pop Dog. That's where JW is from afar. So the bomb's gone down. Shock's gonna get spotted out, and he pops that shotgun right in the face. Down goes J-Dubs. Flusha. 1v2. And the MP9 a little bit better off than the shotgun from afar, but still has no information as to where these players are. And they're currently split. Outside of T-Con is where Body falls, and Flusha's looking for the last. A little jumpy as he spots the gun on the top of the train yard, trying to clear out the corners as fast as he can, but he's going to come up empty-handed. Time is ticking ever so quickly, and he's just going to go and tap the bomb. Again, trying to force the fight, and that's where Shoxy peeks wide. G2 with a response already.
Now, if Fnatic upgrade there, not only do they have M4s that are retake, maybe JW wins that engagement due to him spotting him first. And he had the M10, so that thing didn't do much. Didn't do much at all at that range. I think he did 10 damage with one shot.
Yep.
So it just basically tickled him. And it was easy for Shox. So now Fnatic will get another buy. M4s, FAMAS, UMP, but this time the critical buy here is JW's up. Although they won't have the mollies early on. They think they're want to molly deep T-Con, which allowed Kenny S to get out. And he's already got Dennis down, so now G2 can just sit and wait with this man advantage. They throw Kenny to get the opener. And it was more of a spawn thing. Kenny had the good forward spawn, decides to jump up. I mean, it works out for him, so no reason not to, as G2 will keep some pressure towards T-Con, but they're actually looking all towards Upper B.
Yeah, and Fnatic in response to this, they pull their player away from Ivy, they move the man back from the second of the train yard, and instead they're just going to kind of turtle up on the site itself, right? Leaves Flusha alone towards the B site with only that UMP to play off of, but if he does die, then there's an immediate save possibility on the table. If he gets a bunch of kills, then suddenly they can go for the retake as well. Shoxy's just going to come barreling through the smoke grenade, and he goes down, so now the CTs will arrive. Spraying every which way through that smoke are both teams, but it will be Flusha to fall. NBK sweeps him under the rug as Crims finds a response here. The CT is dangerously close and pushing forward. Crims with another, and suddenly it looks as though G2 might forfeit this round. Body peeking wide though with another frag. Oh my goodness, they've done it. Apex with the last. They keep them in that round. I mean, it looks as though they were about to lose it as the CTs come in for the retake, but they hold on.
They hold on by the skin of their teeth and keeping two players alive, extremely tagged. 2-2, Fnatic. I mean, it was all on Crims there. He really got a lot of opening frags to try to make that retake reality. Then it all kind of just snowballed and fell apart at the seams. And it is 2-2. Fnatic will have upgraded pistols, Deagle, a couple P250s. G2, on the other hand, will have a complete full buy. And Kenny has back towards T-Con where he thrives. We've seen it with the AK, now we're seeing it in the op as Body's just going to run out ladder. No fear in his heart. Because maybe he should have a little bit as he gets shut down, but NPK, I mean, he's just super quick as J-Dubs pushes down towards Ivy. I'm stealing your J-Dubs. I'm sorry about that. I did thieve it. But at the end of the day, G2 will pick up a clean round. We'll be losing one member. Could have been worse. It's going to be another patchy buy from Fnatic, though.
Yeah, this is where things start to get worrisome, right? Like we're talking CT-sided train, where utility and op presence are so crucial. And it looks as though Fnatic are content with just forfeiting that over. They're going to leave the op presence solely in the hands of Kenny S. The utility as well will be there for the most part, but already we see it being expended low, right? So they're not going to have that second wave to follow suit, and it's going to give G2 an opportunity to maybe assert themselves in that regards. But for the time being, everybody just spreads their numbers thin, and we still have a 5v5.
No pressure from JW down Ivy this time. Though he is content to just sit behind server box with his auto. Swings and finds Apex, gonna smoke himself off. Flash for his retreat. He's actually going through it. He's looking for both of them. And that's one way to get a free op. Not only do you get the opener, you get the free upgrade. Kenny has nothing you do that close range when an auto comes through the smoke. As G2 now, one shoe untied, they're down to 3 members, kind of left hopping around, not wanting to step on the other shoelace.
I mean, that's the thing. JW just decides to get aggressive through the smoke, but when you have an auto shotty and you're pinned down behind the server box, you got nothing to lose. Yeah. You're not getting out of there without a gunfight, so you might as well force it upon your opponent, and it's there that he actually shines through. So fantastic stuff from JW. Vintage play. But it's going to be Shox on the other side of the smoke as they try to take the B site. G2 would love a bomb plant or something to walk away with. Olaf drops NBK as Shox finds somewhat of an opening, but Shox doubles down, and that creates space for the bomb to rotate, which is where it's caught out in the open. Crims able to make it hit the dirt, 25 seconds on the clock, and Shox with a 1v3 ahead of him.
I mean, if there's one player you pick from G2's who can pull this off, it is Shox. From Cobblestone to here. And he does have a molly, 52 HP. No time to really waste. He has to take the plant. Fnatic know it. They're all going to try to face it once. Shox won't win the first engagement. Instead, he'll fall to JW 3-3. Fnatic hold on, and more importantly, they keep 3 members alive. Although they don't get the op out of it. JW did upgrade dual rifle for the retake. Fnatic are still feeling okay with this buy, but G2 are laughing as they had a big bank built up themselves. So Fnatic are more loosey-goosey when it comes to these kind of buys, a Mag 7. But G2, this is going to be their last full one on here, around 7. Unless it goes their way, of course.
Looking to assert a bit of Brown Hall's presence. That's going to be Body to lead the charge through the smoke, but he gets chipped down thanks to the frag, sitting on 43. So already one target softened to the advantage of Fnatic. Olaf at the bottom of Pop. He's got that shotgun trained in. JW not getting as aggressive this time around. Kenny is looking for a pick, but nothing has presented itself just as of yet.
Just going to keep trying through the smoke. He's just going to fall back now. Crim's going for some kind of cheeky wall bang up towards upper ladder. Not going to land on anyone. Shox just going to hold upper brown. So G2 are content to just sit and wait this one out right now. Player upper brown, player T-Con. I mean, they're just content to keep pressure. across the map pretty much as a whole. As it's looking like it's going to be an Ivy push, though, from G2. Look for him to smoke left side. And, yeah, Molly right, then flash through and go for a push. JW will get the counter Molly. Question is, does he push through?
Ooh, Olaf just obliterates Shoxy. Splatters him on the ceiling. Fnatic still hanging on to the advantage, but it's Apex to at least find one. Kenny doubles down, but he's looking for more towards the site itself. Still 30 seconds for him to play with. But already Fnatic have his number, and Flusha drops him from afar. So we find Fnatic back in the lead. On the French side, their money is low.
Yeah, and they get an op as well. So that's something JW doesn't have to really invest into. He gets that for free, gets it tossed over, full utility, can even justify a pistol if he really wanted to. And we're going to see G2 go for some upgraded pistols, and by some, I mean just one. Just a deagle out on Apex. As Fnatic, no shotguns this time, so things are looking up for Fnatic as their economy gets in a comfortable position. They start to keep players alive when they win some rounds. And the one upgraded pistol. Goodbye, JW. So he held that angle, but the wide swing will take his head clean off.
We'll see how Fnatic deal with this man disadvantage. They're going to keep their numbers back on the A site. They don't want to get too close, of course. They know it's just the pistols, and one player already made that mistake. So not wanting to throw away any more lives. Keeping an eye on the B side as well in the form of Flusha from afar. He's got that AK trained towards ramp. Worst case scenario for Fnatic, G2 execute to the B site, they find themselves the bomb plant, and that's if Flusha can't just rattle them down, because they start to present themselves, and he drops to 91. Molotov rains over to try and stop the bomb. It will follow through, however, as shots near falls, but it's Flusha and Dennis with the AKs to find themselves 4. Shocks, no chance in the world.
Bomb plant? Yeah, bomb plant. Better than nothing, I guess, from G2.
By all means.
Didn't invest, I think that, what, was it just a single deagle if I remember correctly?
Yep.
And they even dropped the op, which was forced someone to go back and pick it up. So Olaf gets it. The lone deagle does work. They get the bomb planted. Could have went worse for G2, as they're going to get a full buy now. The op out on Kenny S themselves. Now, utility is going to be a question mark for G2. So it is going to be there. One Molly and MBK. The nice thing about when you go for A-side executions is the wall of smokes allows you to put mollies right behind them. Into Z, back sight, back Ivy, and the mollies just keep them at bay even longer than the smokes hit them, and then the CTs don't really know what to do, and it comes down to coordination to make the retake happen. So without that, more pressure, less pressure for the CTs, more room for them to work with, as JW doing a good job switching up when he aggresses and when he doesn't, and this time he will push up, get the opener, and now it's on G2 to kind of fight back into the scrappy kind of round they've put together.
That's why it's always important, if you're not there early as a terrorist side, to flashbang that peak, right? Because there's always generally oppers just posted up on one of those angles. Sure, it's unorthodox to see somebody up close and personal, but it is JW, and so it makes sense. He gets that first frag, and it puts G2 on the back foot straight out the gates. We see them shuffle the bomb amongst their players and try to get towards A, but Dennis is also aggressive, similarly to where JW was, but instead over towards the Pop Dog. Smoke grenade rains up and over, and that's going to block him off. So a nice nade there. It costs him his life. His body takes the frag. Crim's up next on the menu, but he will find himself a frag. Kenny plucking JW from afar, leaves Flusha to take the next, and it's a 3v2 which ensues with G2 on low health.
Kenny S brings it to 1v2. Olaf needs shocks, and Kenny S is good for it. He finds Flusha. 30 seconds, grabs the bomb. Olaf. Question is, how does he read into this? Last spotted Kenny S was top blue trained by T-Con, and Olaf has the exact perfect read for this situation. Early rotations, gets to red just as Kenny was punching in the digits. Couldn't be better for Olaf, as Kenny's not going to be ready for him to be this close. And Olaf plays it beautifully, gets the op, and gets number 6 for Fnatic. Yeah,
nice play there. Really close round, going back and forth. Lots of nice individual plays. But ultimately, Olaf is a step ahead of the game. And Fnatic 3 steps ahead of G2. They're going to have some money if they decide to go for the buy. I'm assuming that's what the timeout's for. You talk things over if you just want to go for a light half and then make sure you get your AWP and your full utility in the next. So they're going to discuss not only what they want to do with this little half buy, but also the following gun round.
I'd like to see, I mean, whenever they go B, typically speaking, G2 have been getting a bomb plant.
Yep.
Whether it be just Glocks or some kind of pistols. So Maybe a round where Flusha gets aggressive towards Brown Halls with his MP9 with support from a rifler on ramp, or something switching it up from Fnatic to try to deny G2 this bomb plant. Although even if you deny the bomb plant, it's still going to be money for G2 as... Ooh, they've... Okay. That's an interesting purchase from MBK and Shox.
Are they on full round loss bonus?
It's 4.
They
plus
would
2
be,
bomb
yeah,
plants.
so they would be if they lose this one.
Plus if they get another bomb plant.
Yep.
I mean, it makes sense. But at the same time, it is still an investment from MBK and Shox.
Yeah, this is a big investment, but I like these sorts of rounds. This makes things interesting. We'll see if it works out, right? JW, not going to spot the cross. A jump boost. Nicely done here. G2 digging deep in the playbook for this round. JW gets smoked off as well. The Molotov prevents him from peeking to the left side, so Crims is going to get forced up above, and it's Apex with the opening frag. Now Fnatic, a man down, but Olaf spins it back with one. Crims lines up two, and JW plucks another, so it's just down to NBK. This play looked fantastic, but in execution, it comes up short.
The cool thing about that run boost is they're banking on JW holding that exact angle.
Yeah.
And as tight as he was, too, because if he was a bit wider, he'd see the player fall halfway. Because that jump boost is, you lose speed when you do that, so it's only good for the first little bit to hide the feet. So they banked on JW holding that angle completely, and it was going gorgeously until Fnatic just get the rotations. They deal with the player coming out of the ladder. They sniping the players coming out of IV, and the rest is kind of just history. As Kenny S and Shox, the double lock. So it's been a while since we've seen it. I don't think we've seen it on T-side train yet.
No.
First time we've seen it. Max loss. It's kind of the time to pull it out, and there you go. Opener already. Kenny S towards T-Con, always a force to be reckoned with. Or not to be, I guess.
I think that pause is a great example of a calculated decision, right? They know exactly what they're going to come into this round with as far as the buy is concerned, and they get the most bang for their buck in the previous one. Although, again, it didn't go as well as it could have. The only real kills coming off that Tech 9. So this time around, the game plan works out. The double op setup nets them a man advantage. Fnatic to down to just 3. And the utility's low as well. They've got the double flash and frag, but no smokes, no mollies, and so much time on the clock.
So much for GT to work with. Body can just sit here and wait. As soon as his teammates force rotations off of Ivy, or they can even rotate to him, really, G2 can do whatever they want at this point. It looks like they are going to be lining up smokes. So smokes for the A site. Olaf gets smoked off behind him, so he knows Body is here. And he will just patiently wait it out. He gets a gush, I think, from a pistol, I think that was. Or was that a shot through the wall, I believe. So Olaf goes down. But at least that's a critical frag. Not to have to worry about the Ivy pressure as G2 try to find some way to back into this, and that's a good one to start it off.
Look how Olaf just assumes position within the Ivy. He knows it's clear. He just tucks himself into the corner, takes the first, and then cleans up Apex, who is incredibly lit. NBK just gets pushed off of the top of the train, and Flusha finds the last. So great little play there, and it all comes down to assuming Ivy control at that very moment. He trains it on the angle, removes the Opper from the equation on G2's side, and it will be Fnatic winning a round despite being at that man disadvantage. So that's most important. They're down a man, they still come out on top, and they have that 5-point lead now over G2. This is the T side of Train, however, so the Frenchmen, they're doing all right. But they certainly need more than 3 moving forward into the second half, and it shouldn't be this round because it is just Kevlar and Deegs.
Yeah, JW has to be careful of how he repeat this. He has one player back, Dumpsters, holding for him. That smoke's going to be deep. There's going to be a player coming through it. Good read from JW, but he can't land the shot as Olaf going to rotate. That's an op in the hands of Shox. Someone you don't want to have it. As you can see, Olaf prioritizes the op in that situation instead of the pistols. Body does pick it up, and MPK is at M4, and they have armor behind this all of a sudden. Kenny S doing some magic towards T-Con, leaves it on Flusha and Crims. As G2 are going to fall back off Ivy. They've done enough. They've gotten the op. They've got the rifle. And G2 are looking super good in this round right now. They get the picks, they get the rifles, they fall back, and a couple missteps from Fnatic.
I mean, that's the most important part. They fall back, they look to re-engage, because they know that Fnatic would be mid-rotation at that moment. They're down to 2 players. Why try to force this?
Yeah.
Just take a step back. You've got all the time in the world. Reposition these weapons since you didn't have them at the beginning of the round. And that's exactly what they've done. They've snuck the bomb out from T-Con. Flusha's going to be left here to the old horseshoe. And then we've got Crims just all the way at B. So clearly Fnatic have no clue what's coming their way. They're just going to forfeit over the site control until Flusha takes a bit of a gander towards the site and finds the side of NBK. However, the plant on the board nonetheless. And it looks as though the T side might take control of Zed.
Interesting. So they plant front site. They put 2 players, Kenny S and Body, knowing they have only the op and a deagle with no utility. So they want to play as close to that bomb as possible, but also be tucked away. As Kenny's going to hold old bomb. Look at the peak. Flusha goes down. Now Crims knows where 1 is, but he has to also figure out where the 2nd is. And Body is just content to sit and wait and allow Kenny S to do all the spotting. Already has a 2K, looking for the 3rd Crims. Going to check the corner, but is he going to check the 2nd corner? He's not. So this should be Body's round. Unless Crims, he's going to stick it out. Here comes Body, and that's exactly the play they wanted. They baited that out lovely. As well, he'll fall to the bomb last second, but G2 get a 4th, and they have money to get a buy here. As Fnatic's economy is kind of interesting how it's panned out so far.
That was a really nice play from G2, I think. I mean, sure, you put both players inside the Z connector, and it's a bit of a gamble. But at the same time, you had no clue where Crims could have been. And he did go for that really long flank all the way through B. So had they tried to fall back and played for the after plant, well, they would have gotten caught in Pop Dog. So that's a really nice positioning from them. And you could see how Crims was just lost. He had no clue where Body could have been. He attempted checking as many angles as he could, but the double down on Zed is really what pays off. So G2 with a round on the board, but a costly one at that, right? They've got to reinvest most of what they have left over. Gives them an op in the hands of Kenny and AKs across for everyone else, but Flusha finds one through the smoke, and Body does the same.
I respect you sticking with the Z, by the way. The Canadian roots.
Very European as well.
It is.
Essentially just not American.
Just not American. Yeah. I appreciate it. JW, gonna find Shocks. Crims. He's gonna sit towards the ladder. He's gonna he's thinking about falling off, but he's Apex coming, so he will clean up his meal. Bring it to a 2-man advantage for Fnatic. 52 seconds for G2 to work with here in round 13. And Kenny S does have the op. Tagged down and cleans up JW as Kenny's looking for some more. And Fnatic, I don't think they want to show face anymore. They don't want to feed the beast that is Kenny S. Plus, it's another entry to the site if they do so.
They can just play responsive. You can see Kenny S searching for a frag, almost frantically here. As they're down to 25 seconds, you don't want to try to make this plant happen in a 2 versus 3. You want at least another frag. You want that moment's hesitation, and they won't find it because Olaf takes the head of Body, and Kenny misses a shot. That could have been crucial. Molotov reigns over, and Crims re-peaks to Kenny's demise. That's a 9-4 scoreline at this point. G2, I'd say if they can get one more in these last 2, we'll be all right. They should go for the save in this one.
Yeah.
Get that nice juicy buy in the next.
Yeah, I think they're definitely going to save here. We may see Body by pistol. So they're actually going to go relatively in on this one. What's the round loss right now? So that's 1,400.
Hard reset.
So interestingly enough, they are going to invest a fair amount into this one, all things considered. So they're going to probably go for it's going to be a force buy, obviously, next round, but it's not going to be AKs by any means. So this is interesting from G2 to go for something like this, knowing the scoreline and knowing that they could get a strong buy in 15.
Dennis is up close. Thanks to a team flash, he will find the kill to Apex. He's trying to hunt for a bit more, and if you can spot a bunch of T's here, then you know what they're doing. They're setting up for that A-site execution. So now the terrorists are forced to go in on this, or at least retrieve that gun. You can see how the majority of Fnatic have already hit the A-site up, and the only man towards B is in the form of Flusha. They've got the AK for Kenny, but he's already down to 39. Shocks tag lightly to 68 as well. So what they were planning on, that A-site execution, gets completely unwrapped thanks to Dennis.
It looks like NBK is thinking about going down ramp while his teammates are still in T-spawn. So there's not much room really for them to work with. Slusher's going to hold the ramp. He'll spot him. Good nade in. And he did just fall back, so NBK will negate the damage from the nade for now, as his teammate's going to rotate to him. And no smoke. No map control. This should be Fnatic's round, as G2 will get a force buy in the next. But a bomb plant would actually be massive in this round for G2.
Yeah, maybe that was what they were really relying on. We'll see. Zoloft takes a position above, falls down, and Goomba stomps Kenny S, so it's just Shocks. 1v3. Gonna find a bit of damage done, but that's all he finds. Crims will take the last. And so, Fnatic hit double digits, G2 still on 4. Again, that bomb plant could be the difference with this next buy. 5 would really be the sweet spot, or at least enough for G2 to play off of.
$800 more, $300 for the planner on top of that. I mean, Body can get an AK. Yeah, it helps, but only in the sense of utilities, and that's about it. Because without that $800, I mean, you're looking at a very similar buy still. So it made a little bit of an impact when it came down to the AK from Body to really solidify that buy, as MBK is allowed to go for the UMP. So they're in for a couple Tech 9s, UMP, AK, and it's looking a lot like a quick play, sending players down ladder and out T-Con.
Yeah, they're going for that heavy utility expenditure yet again. They're blocking off the train yard, and it's Flusha to get aggressive.
Okay.
That costs him. Body just blasts him in the chest, and so Dennis is up next in line, and he finds the man who's lit. That's the AK to go down. The next to follow suit was the MP9. It's been retrieved, but then dropped once more as the T-side struggle to get onto the site. NBK from above here, trying to work this angle onto JW, and he will tag him up, drops him down. NBK, however, caught off guard as Olaf reveals himself. It's just down to Shoxy.
No bomb, it's down back site, has to challenge Olaf with his Tech 9, and he's starting to get pushed from Crims as well. So this is a lot to ask from Shox. Picks up a molly, that works out, but Olaf just wide swings and finds the tap. Although he may burn to his death, we still got the W in that round for Fnatic. So 11-4, and what really started to go Fnatic's way there, well, what started off as going G2's way is that player pushing up in towards upper brown.
Yeah.
The smokes kind of baited that push with the MP9 and immediately get snuffed out, so that opened the site for G2. But Fnatic composed on the CT side, 11-4. That's a monstrous CT half. Although it is T-side combo, you're right. G2, I think they would have liked a little bit more there.
Yeah, I mean, this is just Fnatic asserting themselves on their map choice, right? It justifies it. You get an 11-4 score on the CT side of Train. That's textbook. A fifth round would have really given G2 that extra bit of wiggle room to play off of, but if they can find this pistol, if they can get that economy rolling early on, then by no means or stretch of the imagination is G2 out of this. They're still very competitive, but a pistol would really help. If it goes the other way, then Fnatic will be dangerously close to victory here.
JW, of course he's back to Ivy. Drawing attention, drawing pressure his way, and he has two players actually pushing him. So that's so much information and player like pulled towards JW's positioning. It's almost an open B side. Is Apex the only one here to fight it off? They'll trade frags for now as Apex pushing up from Oil. Gonna do his best, but he can't clean up that kill in time. As NBK though, top yellow spots one, spots Crims. Can't tap him away as Crims is now in a 1v3. He's got two frags, make it a third, but Shox will shut him down, keeping G2 not only alive in the match, but the pistol round surely will help out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, if you don't win the pistol here, then Fnatic could pretty much have that smooth sailing to the finish line. As we saw at the end of Cobble, the score would start to dictate the decisions of G2. They would have to force buy. They wouldn't get that op setup that they could hope for. And so this is exactly what they needed to start their comeback. Yeah. Fnatic, however, with the bomb plant, they know they can get rifles early on, so they're just going to opt into the P250s this time around with a single flash on Flusha. G2, pretty SMG heavy, have nades of their own, and they go for that early Ivy peek to just net some information. Within information, they also find a frag. That's Olaf done and dusted, but Flusha from afar swings it with a pistol. He's got duels across the map.
Just skirmishes everywhere. These pistols from Fnatic look for as many fights as they can find. Flusha wanted one more for the road and said Shox will send him back to reality. 11-6. Fnatic will buy into this round. AKs across the board. Maybe JW or UMP for utility. He could be that guy to get the mollies, get a molly, get another smoke, double flash. I think he's thinking about it. So he's just going to go the AK-1 flash. That's an interesting decision considering they only have two smokes.
Three,
excuse me.
So
yeah.
at least they have, if they choose to, the ability to rely on the one smoke elsewhere. They can go for the fake on the outer AR, but they use their smokes early on, so they're going to have to probably commit to this, or at least get a couple of kills from it. Map control would also be nice, because they've already expended the vast majority of what they had. They'll have one smoke and two flashes left to play, and an opening pick on Shox certainly makes things look better.
Look at Apex's push, though. He actually pushes through the smokes to get aggressive with his UMP, while Kenny S looking for something towards Ivan. He'll get it for the road. He's going to fall back. Apex will get cleaned up through the smoke, though. So that smoke's kind of a telltale that someone is pushed up quite aggressively as Dennis finds an entry. So all of a sudden, Fnatic have turned a bad into a good by just molding it around G2's aggression. And Crims is going to dome body, brains on the wall. Kenny S 1v4 with the op. He can't hit the flick up, but Dennis can hit the shot. Fnatic throw the smokes, bait out G2 getting aggressive, and they get the opening Ivy, get the player T-Con. The rest is just G2 getting rotated on.
Yeah, Fnatic straight out of the gate with that round. just a step ahead. So this is what they needed, an early response in their T side. The first gun round nets them a point on the board, so G2 need to bounce back quickly. And unfortunately for them, the economy doesn't justify a purchase, so it's just the vanilla pistols plus the deagle of Kenny S. Very bare bones minimum of a buy versus the op of JW. He gets tagged. Falls to 72 points of health. Gives a bit of a chance here as it forces him back, but even more damage won't be enough. Apex still falls.
Yeah, the Deagle and Kenny S looking to deal some damage still. Although Fnatic is going to play it safe. A couple players throw utility towards B. See if they can't get someone from G2 to wide swing, push them. Anything that works in Fnatic's favor is Crims is going to just fall back to ladder. This is almost G2 just saying, yeah, we'll take a save here. We'll just go ahead and get some pistols. Not much else we can put on the board. Fnatic, I think it's almost safe to say 13's on the horizon for them, especially with Flusha finding shocks. Kenny S with his Eagle is going to be posted. The smoke's behind him. He's just going to sit here and wait. But I think Olaf's content to just sit this one out too, because he doesn't necessarily have to push. His T-Con players can push out.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the three-pronged A assault, right? You can always decide who decides to peek first, either ladder, T-Con, or Ivy. But in this case, it's T-Con who comes wildly out, and that's where Crims finds the headshot. This is going as it should have. Finally, Fnatic pull the trigger, and it nets them 0 losses. JW still sits on 16 health, and body within Zed near finds Crims. But that is a flawless round from Fnatic, and G2 will finally get their bye.
Yeah, it's going to include the op on Kenny S. Now, it's a situation where Shocks is extremely broke, so Body could drop him. It looks like Body's going to go, yeah, so they'll trade. So Shocks saying, you know what, I'll concede a little bit of utility here. I'll give you FAMAS, you can get utility, you swap me the op. So the double op now comes out from G2. We'll see if that's going to shut down Fnatic, who have been smokes heavy, default heavy, and then late execution is, you'd love to see that from JW. The quick early peek shuts down Shocks, who's probably one of the better B players when it comes to ramp. But JW shows you why you kind of shoulder peek that one.
Look at this, though. They've already walked past Body, so Body's behind enemy lines, and he's spotted. He finds 1 and 2, dropping the bomb before Tennis takes him down. And a 2 versus 2 is what we're left with the CTs rotating through spawn. So the bomb gets picked back up. Dennis holds the angle. We're going to see what MBK and Kenny can do with this one. I mean, the health advantage clearly in the favor of Fnatic, and the bomb plant also going their way.
Dennis just pushed up so aggressive. We'll catch NBK, low HP. Even Kenny S in a 1v2. The op in his hand spots the player. Upper goes for the flick up. Can't land it, but he also spotted the player back oil when he went for that shot. Instead, Dennis wide swings on him. Fnatic 2 rounds away now from locking this one out in G2. You're going to have to take kind of a half buy here. Question is, it's a similar situation as Cobble with Fnatic. Do you buy here and play for OT? It was a similar scoreline too, actually. I think it was 7 rounds maybe for Fnatic, or did they have 8 at that point?
7 or 8.
It was 7 or 8. Yeah, so it's a very similar situation, and G2 are going to buy back into it. So you can see it's interesting how it actually transitions from map pick to map pick. So
Fnatic shuffling the bomb towards Ivy early on. JW already has himself an angle out, but it's through the fire and the flames that Apex takes the headshot in the opening pick for the G2 esports side. 3 players for Fnatic, still blocked off. They try to go for this boost again, but little do they realize, Shoxy's right there. And Kenny S is coming back with that op. Shox seems to know as they fire a couple of shots. They're trying to bait it out, and Shox gets denied.
Wow.
Dennis, while jumping, takes the frag, and I mean, the health is clearly in the advantage of G2, but Fnatic are still fighting.
Apex is going to pick up his mantle and continue to push down. So he's going to sit server just like where Shox was, as G2 get aggressive on the back of that player dropping early. Fnatic fall back, give up that part of the map. Not much for Apex to really pick up, as he's just going to push for information. So now that's a ton of information given to G2. We may see an early rotation there. There it is. The player from A immediately going to Z. I'll cover both for the basis. And they have a player in ladder too. So G2 are set up beautifully for this take from Fnatic.
Body's playing from above here. Could net him a couple kills on the exit, especially considering that Olaf and Crims are still lit. But meanwhile, Flush is just creeping into A, and there's someone right behind him. That's going to be... Oh! Apex doesn't take the frag as Flusha whips back round. And 3 kills for G2 thanks to NBK. 10 seconds left on the clock as Flusha tries to just scuttle to the bomb site. 4 seconds as he plants the bomb, but the peak comes wide. He'll take the frag. Second man near found, but no. Flusha not able to win that one out. That would have been epic.
That one got close. That
Yep.
got super scary. If you had a couple more seconds and was able to land on that platform and hit the shots while falling, that would have been lights out. Fnatic take this map, but now G2 have a chance. The door's opened. The Yop gets saved from Kenny S, but their money is still kind of in this weird transition state where they're a middle class kind of team right now, right? In the sense of they can get some players on M4s, some players on UMPs, but they can't afford too much. Shox is down to $2,700, and all he's bought is armor. So it's kind of like, does he go for the UMP utility too? MPK can get an M4, so I'm imagining we're seeing 2 M4s, 2 UMPs. Well, Fnatic will be okay in the sense of rifles.
I was going to say a scout could have been the alternative as well for
Yeah,
Shox.
okay. Yeah.
They've been relying on that double op setup, and it had worked, right? So a couple of times there, you could have gone for it. You still would have had the 3 automatic weapons to be alongside, but no, he goes for the ump, which is still a fine choice. Apex early on uses the nade to prevent the push, but there's nothing there here from Fnatic. Instead, they opt to go brown halls and head towards the B site, leaving 1 man as an anchor at Ivy, and that's Olaf.
Here, there, or anywhere. I think that's a Dr. Seuss quote. I'm probably wrong. It's been a long time since I've been a kid. It's been a while. Although, don't ask my mom. She still thinks I'm a kid, Scrawny. Don't make fun of me for it. As Olaf continuing to work down Ivy, G2 have body on site. He's going to hold upper. And Dennis, he's going to fall. Shox back sight. They're locking this out as Crims will finally find an entry. But Shox can just sit and wait. He's going to push through his smoke and call for rotations as JW going to smoke it off right side by Oil and get the plan at least, while Olaf is going to strike from Ivy. So this is a huge play from Olaf, but MPK with a counter push as well.
Yeah, now G2 still have to be wary of where Olaf has gone. Has he wrapped all the way through CT spawn? Is he coming up through ladder? The CTs have the bomb site itself, but they're pinched within both players. And the bomb's planted at an awkward spot, so Shox is going to try to keep this. He's rolling with it, and he will stick it. 3v2. G2 just keep rolling.
You said it. Awkward bomb plant from JW. G2 with the flank and the pressure and the quick rotations kind of put Fnatic in an awkward spot where they felt like, okay, we need to get this bomb down now or we're not going to get it planted at all. So JW takes the chance to smoke it off, plant in such an awkward spot where not only could he not fully see it unless he wide swung back Oil, but there's a smoke on it from G2 as well. So it was just more salt in the wound. 14-8, G2 aren't done. They'll still include 1 UMP buy, but they have the mollies, they have everything they need. And it looks like NBK is going to get aggressive in ladder room. Well, Fnatic just settle out across the map, early molly and ladder, keeps MBK honest. As JW is looking for an entry towards T-Con. I believe that is Olaf again towards Ivy. So same setup, pretty much identical from Fnatic.
And again, G2 go for this forward A positioning, right? We see players over towards T-Con, NBK this round at the bottom of Pop, so lots of forward advancements from G2. Crims just toying with the idea of dropping down. It's going to be bodied a wide swing from Brown Halls once more, but is this... Ooh, checked, yes. But it doesn't matter. Flusha still dropped. As now NBK finds another G2 with a 2-man advantage, and the bomb's still down. So much time left to play. Utility as well for both teams to work with. Fnatic need to find some kind of an opening before they hammer home the bomb take.
That might be Olaf to push down here and get the opener. Smoke on the left, Molly on the right. He's just going to slowly push up 42 seconds. There's a player top green, a player sight, a player back lanes. There's a lot to ask for Olaf as he'll come through the smoke and meet his maker. That's Shox as JW gets himself out sandwich. Won't spot Apex. As Dennis in a 1v5, G2 will get 9 as they will take a flawless round and a team ace.
Yeah, that's exactly what they needed, right? We're starting to see the money from Fnatic dwindle low. We're starting to see the money on G2 grow. And that's perfect, because if you're going to surmount the comeback, then you definitely need that economic structure behind you. And everybody's hitting shots at this point. There is no weak link really on G2. Everybody's doing their job. As you mentioned, the team ace in that previous round. So if they can keep this up, then by no means is Fnatic already in the clear. They can't let G2 get ahead of themselves. It's going to be Tech9s, a Deagle, and a CZ with some utility and a fast peek out from Ivy, where Apex finds the first frag onto the head of Olaf.
And he's going to continue to hold. Kenny S is in a rough spot. And Molly's going to keep Kenny in place as Crim's pushing up full blind. Knows Kenny was there, and that Molly finishes him off. NBK from heaven. It's just going to be a turret here. No reason to fall. Can just sit and wait as Flusha, though. It was all kind of a ruse for him to allow him to get into the site and get the bomb down. Shock's on 4. But this is a lot to ask for Flusha. He's done his job, though, pushing into B and get the bomb planted to at least get Fnatic that a little bit of economy boost.
You know, he's already hit 1 man. Shox is still lit, but 4 HP is all he needs to find that final frag. So now both teams sitting on the double digits, and this is good. This is good for G2. They keep 2 players alive once more, so the rebuy certainly going to have to dip into the funds, but at least they're there, right? They were able to build it up in the previous round, so we see the French side really starting to put together a comeback. Fnatic have yet to take a pause or anything along those lines. We've yet to see that double op set up on their T side as we did with G2, but at least this round it's Olaf with the op, and there it is.
It's a hard thing to really push, though. It's a very pick-heavy setup now from Fnatic, so it can't be anything too explosive. You
can do it on Ivy, though.
Yeah.
Because Ivy is really key for op shots, and then if you have the second guy on T-Con, you can make some really nice pincer plays. But the ops can't stop this. NBK with a P90 just running and gunning as he splatters 2 players, and now G2 fall back. They had a 5 versus 3 in the last round, and they've done it yet again.
Well, that's one way to start the round off going your way.
Yeah.
The push with the P90, players there to support you. You're kind of like pulling your friend along for the ride as he just mows 2 down, falls back. They even upgrade the P90 on the way out to get an AK. As Flusha put in a rough spot. Body is considering pushing back up, but at low HP, he's just going to go drop the smoke. As Olaf, he just pushed out T-Con by himself, got the opener. Kenny S shuts it down, so Olaf had map to work with. But instead, he didn't have teammates. He didn't have like utility. He couldn't ask for any kind of support in that situation, and it will all start to cave in on Fnatic. As G2 will keep 4 alive, keep the Yop, keep the rifles, and Fnatic have to take a. It looks like it is going to be a pause. Now, I don't know if this is a pause to contemplate a buy, which, gratefully so, they could get 3 AKs. But do you really want to go all in with 3 AKs, no op on Olaf? I mean, it's kind of in a situation where you're still in the lead semi-comfortably. Okay, so it's a technical, but you're still in the lead semi-comfortably. Like, what would you... I'm trying to think about if you're Fnatic in this spot. Do you go ahead and just buy?
I wouldn't.
Maybe just a bomb plant kind of buy?
Yeah, exactly. Play for the plant again. I mean, Train is one of those maps where generally that B site can be taken by Storm. And if you can get the bomb plant, then you generally make your money back. And ultimately deal damage as well, right? That's the thing, is you don't want G2 to keep this economy rolling. They have that structure behind them, and you want to try to cut it out underneath. But Fnatic, I mean, you need smokes, and you need full nades to go for executions on the T side of Train, so I would be shocked had they bought. But they didn't. They play it intelligently. They get the double deegs. They get the 3 Tech 9s, so they'll have the ability to go for the picks, but then also storm the sites when they so choose. NBK spotting players at the bottom of ladder already, and he's double flashed, but that won't stop Apex from taking both frags. Just NBK to help out, and this round goes from bad to worse as Fnatic just gets splattered. Everyone on their attempt into the A site gets knocked down.
Nothing going Fnatic's way there, from positioning to flashes coming in from G2 to smokes, mollies, just nothing. Fnatic just needed one little opening there, right? One avenue for Tech 9 to push up, and the rest could be lights out. Instead, they just get absolutely obliterated. Fnatic, though, one saving grace they have here is they do have AKs. They have utility, though no op, because they did invest in the double op, which cost them in the long run. It did hurt them a little bit, so now they're not going to go for it due to the money stance right now and how close the game is. Kenny S going to be holding tight Ivy, waiting for this B, kind of begging for it, as Fnatic are just going to sit, and again, almost in a replica situation and setup from what they've gone for before, minus, because a lot of teams have a rifle setup and then if they op setup, so it is just going to right now be a little more reserved than if they had the ops for the picks.
Dead silent is this server until that smoke grenade blooms. Nobody's looking to give away any kind of an advantage early on here. And this is when you know things are getting serious, right? Nobody's taking uncalculated risks. It's all going to come down to timing. They've been able to shuffle themselves into the brown halls. They've kept an eye on Ivy for the aggro peak. They're going to start to clear out the Molotov, but Flusha tries to jump into his own fire, and NBK is having none of that. Headshot guaranteed.
as he just pops the first man and takes the man advantage. Kenny S trying to get himself from behind the servers, falls back. Olaf gets here just a moment too late. And Dennis as well just waits for the smoke to dissipate, but that's not the case. They replume it, and Apex with another headshot drops Dennis. So a two-man advantage, 30 seconds left. This looks like a G2 round through and through.
Once Olaf and JW can string something together, Olaf needs this entry, he needs it to be clean. And that's Kenny S down. That's the op on the floor if Olaf wishes to go for it. JW spots that player, but Apex just spins around. With the help of Body, they'll clean up the last two. As they are now within one round from getting 14s. We're almost in the teens. Well, tied up at the teens. As the ops continues to come out from Kenny S. They've hit the 10K mark now, so they're feeling really comfortable. And it's almost at a point where Fnatic can't even reset G2. Like, it's almost at that point.
There's enough money for the French side to buy it in the rest of the game. So the whole economic aspect is out the window. Fnatic just need rounds, and they fully invest into this one. So this is going to be one of the rounds they absolutely need. If they can secure OT with 2 rounds left to play out, then they could still walk away with the win. But Body's gotten aggressive in the meantime, using the smoke cover to get behind the boxes. And that's a really unorthodox spot. So if you can have a teammate flash in for him over the top that normally the T's throw their flashes out from, that'd be an awesome opportunity to peek. But instead, he's just going to wait, and they start to walk by. They don't fall for it, though. Flusha with the opening kill. Shocks is going to try to move up forward. There's already players flooding out, but Shocks flicks on, and Kenny as well takes the next. So suddenly, what looked like an opening from Fnatic shut down. Kenny S rotates back towards A, where he finds another frag, and while Crims takes one, they still need the fight for the site.
And now it's just Olaf. The nade lands in on Crims. Shocks. What was that flick on the player coming out upper? As Olaf will get one. He has 100 HP and bomb. Or excuse me, 97 HP and bomb. And he is in a 1v2. 40 seconds on the clock. As Kenny S has just made such a sick play this round where he went to Z and found that player. As Olaf is just going to tick time down. 30 seconds. Bomb control, a molly. And Kenny S is just waiting for him.
With no utility either, he can't just smoke off the ramp and try to get to the site. So his only avenue of pushing is on upper. And as he goes wide, that's where Kenny S lies in wait. So perfect play from Kenny. He sits there, and it was Olaf whose hands were tied.
And G2 even went for that risky play behind the double stack and upper brown. Now, the reason that the place doesn't get played often, because if it's properly played from the T side like Fnatic played there, is if you just casually walk up and wide swing the place, or wide swing the boxes, you can see the back end of a CT player before they can see you due to how the box and the angles work out. Now, you're right, if a flash came through, that's a double kill, if not a triple kill, if not the round. Instead, we're sitting at 14-14, G2 clutch it out, and Fnatic go for a buy here. So they go for Tech 9s and AK, no utility Dennis. This is a fairly committed buy now for Fnatic.
A desperate buy from Fnatic. I mean, they've got the full utility to play off of. There's no aggression from G2 and T-Con, so they're going to be able to go for this set piece. And they already have 2 players at the bottom of ladder as well. But G2 have just kerneled up on the bomb site, which can be so hard to deal with. They still have full Ivy control, and there's going to be no one from Fnatic to contest that. Ultimately, Fnatic should be walking into their deaths unless somebody goes big. G2 just have to sit here, hold, and use these nades in response. The smokes have already plumed on the site, and it's going to be Kenny from above. He spots one man, but the shot goes wide. NBK drops down, and he near finds the second. Olaf responding already as Kenny's now left to clean it up, and the rest of the terrorists flood B.
Kenny gonna get JW on the rotations. Flush of Crims. As Crims is gonna push forward when the bomb goes down. He gets one. He's hunting for some more with the Tech 9. He's gonna get it. So he's got Shocks, but as soon as rotations just come through, the overwhelming numbers of G2 will just absolutely shut down Fnatic. 15 for G2, as their CT side is completely, and not even the beginning CT rounds, like the later portion of this has just transitioned G2 into be such a dominating state. I mean, everyone in the server is putting up numbers. I don't think there's one player you can say is having a bad game. I think everyone's doing their roles in their team well. Everyone's playing well. And this is just a game where 2 forces have just butted heads. And right now, G2 are looking like the ones who may just take this one over the edge.
Yeah, we're going to see another double op setup from Fnatic, though. We hadn't seen this for quite some time. Now, they were able to get a pick last time they used this. And let's hope for them that they can do it once more. But G2 certainly with a very real chance of winning the game. There's been a very long time since Fnatic even put something on the board to play off of. Olaf tries to punish Shocks again with that peek. This time it was Body, but he comes up empty-handed.
Olaf is fishing. He wants KennyS to peek into this one. He's begging KennyS, just peek for info. A minute 25 on the clock, and Olaf is just content to sit here and hold the angle. Although he has no team support, no one's near him. And Olaf, it will pay off. The time invested will net himself a frag as NPK is sitting in ladder. Now Fnatic, they win this round, we go to OT. Olaf going to continue to pressure towards Upper Brown, and that's a second while JW finds Apex. So the double ops finding 3 frags. NBK is in the linchpin kind of situation, where if he can bring it back now for G2, a couple frags, all of a sudden this is doable for his team, and just like that, that's 2 for NBK. Shox denies the plant, he's looking for more, and he's got Flusha. All of a sudden this round is falling apart at the seams for Fnatic as JW's in a 1v2. Make it a 1v1, but he still has to get this bomb.
Picked it back up, but he gets tagged down to 52 points of health here. Pops it once and re-peeks, but no! NBK with the
Wow.
frag from afar. A 2 versus 5.